Welcome. We are live. Hello, everybody. Super excited to be here today. Happy Monday. If you are brand new to the group, welcome to Emotional Eating Decoded. My name is Sierra Spencer, and I am an eating psychology coach, diet recovery certified coach as well. And I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter and a husband and a dog and a cat. Just really excited to be here today. We're going to share with you all about control. We're going to talk about control tonight. It's a really big topic, and you don't have to be out of control to be able to eat what you want and when you want it. That sounds like a pretty big promise, but tonight we're going to kind of dive into that. So if you are on live, we want you to say hello, just say hi, hello, tell us where you're from. If you're new to the group, say hello, I'm new, I'm just joining. Maybe if this is your first live training ever, just say hi, and this is my first live. If you're one of our peeps, say hello as well. And if you're watching the replay, type replay below so that we know to come back and just check to make sure that if you had any questions, that we can just make sure that we address any questions. So again, type live or type replay, and we're excited to dive in. So Hannah, you can take it away to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah Hips. I am here in Charleston, and I'm so glad you're here. As you know, every week we hop on here and do a live training because we want you to feel empowered with your relationship with food. And me and Sierra both struggled a lot with emotional eating, binge eating, restriction, stress eating, you name it. I think we've been through it. And this is something that we hear all the time about. Sorry, I totally didn't introduce myself either, but I'm just going in. But this is what we hear all the time, is that we feel out of control, and we feel like if we allow ourselves to eat what we want, then we're never going to stop eating. Or your goal might be you just want to eat what you want, right? And there's this sticky lining underneath of, well, if I let go, then I'm really going to let myself go. And we're here to give you some practical steps to help you feel more confident. And I saw something on the interwebs the other day. It was so good. It was talking about intuitive eating and how really what intuitive eating is learning how to eat normal again. And I was like, that is so genius, because we have forgotten how to actually eat. We've gotten so tied into diets or eating this way or that way, and it's skewed our mindset and our ability to listen to our body. So me and Sierra tonight are going to discuss some things that you can do to actually bring all of that back to your body, help you start intuitive eating so you can eat normal. You can eat what you want and feel good about it. So yeah, let's do this, Sierra.
Oh, good. So I want to say hi, Carolyn. She says hi from Chicago. We have Andrea online, Milana. So hello, thanks for commenting. We're excited to dive in. And again, kind of like Hannah was saying, like this, we hear this all the time, is I am so afraid that if I actually allow myself to eat food, or if I try to trust myself with food, that I won't be able to stop eating, or, I won't be able to just eat one cookie. How many of you right now, if there's a huge plate full of desserts and sweets and cookies and chocolates, how many of you would be able to stop at one or two? Type yes or no. Okay, so we used to be totally afraid of this as well. Like I know for myself too, like I had a huge list of foods that were like a big no-no, forbidden, do not eat. This will give you diabetes. This will cause weight gain. This is like so bad. This is inflammatory, right? Like the list goes on for the number of foods that I allowed myself to eat and how many were on that forbidden food list. And I felt so out of control, meaning I couldn't trust myself. Like if I went into a party and there was a big thing of sweets, like I was the first one there to I was so embarrassed and ashamed. I couldn't control myself. I looked at the person next to them with like a half eaten like slice of cake. And I just was shocked. Like, how is that even possible? How did they not eat that entire slice of cake? And the good news is that you can overcome this. It is possible. I know for myself, and I know Hannah probably has a similar story. Like, I'm one of those people now. I can leave a bite or two of cake left. I can eat half a bag of chips and not the whole bag. Like, it just, food is easy breezy now. My relationship with food has completely changed. And that's what we're hoping to kind of dive into, to give you guys some tips on, yeah, you really don't have to be out of control to be able to eat what you want when you want it. Okay. It actually is the opposite, right? Like, I have complete control over how much I eat and when. I'm a total intuitive eater, and it's because I let go of control. Okay. So, and I know that's really scary, but we want you to feel at peace around food, and we want you to live life to the fullest. And feeling crazy around food and thinking about it all day and trying to stop yourself from eating something is not, it's just not living. You have so many other important things to talk about. So we got you.
I think that's the thing that we hear the most also when people join into our program that we have. It's like, it's scary. There's a lot of fear around letting go. And the number one thing, there's a lot of number ones, but one of the main things that really helped me is, Sierra was talking about the list of foods, her forbidden foods. We label foods as good and bad, right? So what does that make us if we were to eat a food off our bad list? Well, then we're a bad person. We're wrong. And this is where like the shame and the guilt come from, is when we're labeling food a certain way, that means we're putting that label on ourselves. And so if I eat that donut that I have labeled bad, that I shouldn't be eating, well, then if I eat it, I'm a bad person. I'm wrong. I'm a failure. And then there's this guilt and there's this shame, and then it's like the whole cycle all over again, right? And so one of the things that I did was like, I took those labels off, good or bad, because food, it's not a moral thing, right? You're not good or bad depending on what you eat. Food is not good or bad. Yeah, it may be healthy and unhealthy, or more satisfying and not so satisfying. But when we take those bad and good out of it and remove it, what would you look at food? What would be another way to look at it? And if food wasn't good or bad, then if you eat, you are not good or bad. You're not good if you eat a salad, right? Then like, oh, I'm doing really good. How many of us have said that? Oh, I'm doing good. I eat a salad. But then you ate a donut. You're like, I'm bad. I'm doing really bad because I ate a donut. Well, if food doesn't meet, if there's no moral aspect, or you take the label away, no foods are off limits, then you have a completely different feel about food in yourself if you eat it. I like to call the what if game. What if this donut wasn't bad? What if it was just food? Well, then I'm not really good or bad if I eat it. And I think that's just a big thing.
I don't know about you guys, if you guys are watching this, if you agree, or maybe you did this too. If someone asked like how my day was, and I would say good or bad, it would literally only depend on the food that I ate. Like, I could have had a good day. I remember I used to be a first grade teacher. And when I first started teaching, I was also training for a fitness bikini competition. So I was on a very restrictive diet, only eating tilapia and asparagus 3 times a day. I was in the gym twice a day, 3 to 4 hours a day. This was during the week. Okay. So if I ate, and I was only allowed to eat like 12 almonds for a snack, and if I got super extra hungry and I had more than 12 almonds, and my husband asked how my day was, it would be like, oh God, it was bad. Like, I messed up, I screwed up. Like, I can't believe I can't even just freaking only eat 12. Like, what is wrong with me? My whole day revolved around my food and what I ate. And it was a good day if I stuck exactly to what my meal plan was, which was almost impossible. So I had, so many bad days, which overall, in fact, affected my entire mood and my entire, like, I felt depressed all the time and anxious. 99% of it was because I was so restrictive and hard on myself about exactly what I was supposed to be eating. If you can remove these labels of good and bad, and even like labeling your day as good and bad, like anyone else do that? Just say yes or no in the comments. Where you labeled your entire day based on like what you ate, right? So
Yeah,
so
I think that's huge, right? It's like your whole day is revolved around that. Um, Another thing is like, when we are labeling our foods good and bad, that kind of leads into restricting, right? We have our list of things that we can have and can't have, and then we begin to take things out because we think they're bad, and we begin to restrict. And me and Sarah talked a lot about this in our food fix workshop that we did last week, is when you restrict something, what is it that you're going to want the most is whatever you're restricting, and whatever you're restricting is going to turn into that coping mechanism. It's going to be a strategy for you. And people are like, well, I can't get over the sugar, I can't get over this, and I lose control all the time, and I don't give myself permission to have it after lunch, because I mean, who knows what's going to happen. But then in the evening comes, you have no willpower anymore. You have no control anymore. So the more that you restrict, the harder it is to actually have control over your eating and to feel empowered and confident with your eating, because your body is going to take over. And I think this is really hard challenge when we start to bring in more foods into our diet that we've had on our do not eat list. Giving yourself full permission to actually eat it. And this is like, not like, full permission doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to allow myself to only have this much. No, full permission is allowing yourself to have full permission and eat as much as you would like. And like the next couple things that we talk about have a lot to do with how to actually do that, because we often think full permission means gorge yourself and feel sick and bad. That's not it. Full permission is really paying attention to how you're thinking about the food, how you're eating the food, how your presence is with your food. All of that plays a role in it. And when you actually give yourself full permission to have something, you actually get satisfied. I
mm-hmm.
think that's a huge thing, because when we're restricting, we're never satisfied. Tell me, like, in the comments, like, if you've ever been on a diet or if you've restricted something, do you ever truly feel satisfied? Or is there always this lingering hunger, even after a binge? That
Yeah,
hunger is still there because we are like restricting something from our diet.
so true. And I was just talking with someone today on one of our game plan calls today, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. This after we'll talk about that tonight, about how you can schedule a game plan call. But I was talking with someone today about, on their game plan call, about, she asked me, do you guys address cravings? Like, why can't I get rid of my cravings? Why am I always craving junk food? Why am I always craving sugar and chocolate? Like, why can't I crave a salad? And it was so awesome because I have a screenshot from a text message last week from one of our clients who said, I am craving a salad for the first time. Can you explain this psychology madness to me? Right. So I want to say what Hannah was talking about with this, like, no restriction, giving yourself full permission. I know that it sounds crazy. I know that it's probably, if you're in the thick of like really trying to heal your relationship with food and you want to feel better about food in your body, like this whole idea of allowance and giving yourself full permission and letting go of restriction, I promise you, you will crave salads again. You will crave vegetables. Like, that will happen. We teach you that process. Like, a lot of people don't do well with just a rip the band-aid off approach. A lot of the people we work with have tried that. Maybe you've tried intuitive eating. You're like, I tried giving myself permission and it did not work. I just binged the entire time. Okay, so we teach you this process on how to start giving yourself full permission without restriction.
What if no food was off limits? What would you choose? And like, whenever I am really trying to like teeter decide if I want to have something like something I normally don't eat, or a cookie, or that would normally be called bad. Like the other night, I made brownies with my son, and I'm like, what if it's like not a big deal? Like, I can choose to say yes to it, or I can choose to say no to it. And darn it, I'm saying yes. And I went for it fully and enjoyed it completely. And I mean, I didn't have to have a ton of it, but also like before, I'd want to eat the whole pan.
Mm,
Now I can have a few pieces and be okay with that and feel completely satisfied. And it's not talking to me while I'm in the other room. Have you ever had food talk to you? And it's like, it's there. And you're like, oh my God, why is it screaming at me to come eat it? It's screaming at me because it's like you had a smidge of like guilt about it, And when you take that guilt away, full permission allowed, then it doesn't talk to you. That conversation ends after you eat it and consume it. And that kind of goes into the second thing, or the other thing I want to talk about. Is like, okay, so once you give yourself permission, then what? Well, you got to make sure that you go slow with it,
yeah.
that you actually allow yourself to enjoy it, because often when we feel guilty or bad about something, we are eating it super fast. And then that leaves us lingering and wanting more. So when you begin to start incorporating new foods, or just a different way of eating, if you go slower and you actually give yourself time to enjoy the food, to taste the food, what's the smell, the aroma, what's the scenery, what are you doing, and how does it actually taste? Then that is even like giving your whole body even more satisfaction, which then it's like you don't have to keep going back for more and more, which you might at first go back for more and more, but it slowly begins to decrease as you give yourself that full awareness, permission, and by going slow with it and giving your body and your mind and your body time to have a conversation. Right?
Yeah.
We often don't even allow our mind to catch up with our stomach because we've like eat too fast, and our mind's like, wait, what just happened? Wait, we didn't eat? I don't think we did. I didn't taste it. Okay, I'm hungry again. Let's go back for more. But when we slow down, it's like our metabolism begins to actually increase. The nutrients that we absorb increases. Our digestive system turns on. So there's less bloating, less feeling crappy about it, all of the things. So just think about um, all of that when you are deciding to eat.
Yep. Slowing down has been one of the biggest things that our clients so far going through our empowered eating inner circle have said. They're like, this, just the fact of like taking 5 to 10 deep breaths to slow down with their food has tremendously impacted their relationship with food, their metabolism, their just overall feeling more nourished. And on that note, the next thing we want to talk about when it comes to having to have having more control and like being able to eat what you want is nourishing big whole meals. Okay, so a lot of times what we see, and this is going to go along with macronutrient balance, making sure that you are eating enough. Okay, because if you're not, there's like willpower and control is going to go like straight out the window, like straight out. Okay. Like there is no such thing as willpower and control. If you're hungry, okay, your biology will kick in. So when we say nourishing big meals, I mean, think about when you go to a restaurant and you go to the entree section, like an entree. Like, are you eating an entree for breakfast and lunch and dinner? Or check out your breakfast and lunch. Are you eating enough? If not, that stress response, that out of control feeling, being able to trust yourself and having control is not going to be there. And it's not your fault. That's your biology. Okay. So a lot of times what we need to do is look at, am I eating enough meals that are satisfying? Like Hannah talked about slowing down. Like, are those meals satisfying? Are they pleasurable? Do I have a balance of protein, carbs, and fats at each meal, right? When you start bringing in big, nourishing meals throughout your day, so much in your metabolism and your mindset, your brain gets satisfied and your body gets satisfied, and it stops screaming at you so much when you start giving yourself what you need. Okay. So yeah, like what we're all about, like eat donuts, and we're all about health as well, right? So like we want your blood sugar to be balanced. We want you to feel healthy. So that means if you're going to have a donut for breakfast, hell yeah, girl, but also eggs. Like let's get some avocado, let's get some like toast, let's get a green smoothie in there. Like let's get a big balanced meal so that you can start feeling better too.
Such good advice right there. Um, And Andrea says that, yeah, that's happened to me, talks to me. Yep, food used to talk to me all the time. And Sue says cereal does this to me. I start finally actually tasting on the fourth bowl. Yeah, you gotta like slow it down for sure. So another thing we want to talk about is how to like reestablish that relationship with your body. How do you trust your body, right? Because we've lived so much outside of ourselves, following a certain plan, saying we shouldn't eat this, this is good, this is bad, that we've lost touch with actually listening to our body. And we don't even really know what we actually like anymore. And so the slowing down has a lot to do with this. The presence has a lot to do with this. Like really paying attention to what you're doing helps you turn back into your body and figure out, like, write a list. Like, what would you really want to eat? And then you begin to eat from that list in a way that is supportive for you, not guilty, right? Giving yourself full permission and slowing down. And as you do that, you begin to bring that awareness back to your body, back to your taste buds, be like, oh, this does not taste as good as I thought it did. Or you're like, oh, this does taste really good. I think I want more of this, or whatever it is. But it's about tuning back into actually what you like and dislike. A long time ago, I decided like I would eat foods that I really didn't like, but I was like, it was a holiday. I was like, it was something like those, like, oh, it's a holiday, so I have to eat that. I don't remember what it is now, but it was something that I didn't like in some holiday, and I would eat it every year. And I'm like, this is so gross. And then finally I was like, dude, I don't have to eat it. Like, I don't have to eat it. And so I decided like I don't have to eat anything that I do not like. I do not like kale. Kale's too rough and texture doesn't work for me. So I do not eat it. Before I would eat it just because it's healthy and I wouldn't even enjoy it. So the whole point is enjoy what you eat, learn what you like and dislike. And if you dislike it, you don't gotta eat it. Right? Like, I think that was like a huge thing. And that helped me so much because before you know, it's kind of like I didn't have any idea of what I liked or didn't like. Food was just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's good, but I just don't know. And I would just eat it. And I'm like, this isn't that good, but I would continue to eat it. I would continue to eat it on my plate. And you don't have to. And so that's another way to help you get back in tune with your body.
Absolutely. And I think you brought up a really good point that kind of brings us into our last point is relearning who you are, and then like relearning how to eat, relearning how to focus on you and what you need and not just the food. When you were saying like, what do I like to eat? Like what's important to me? What do I even like? I think there is so much nutrition confusion out there, right? Like, and so much contradiction. I mean, I'm sure you guys watching this, it's like you look at someone that's like, oh, you need to do keto. And then the next person's like, no, you need to be vegan. And then the next person's like, oh, you need to do intermittent fasting. And the next person's like, oh, you need to be anti-inflammatory. Oh, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like my brain hurts just like thinking about it. And what if there was a way that you could relearn and focus on what you need and what your unique body needs? Everyone's body is different. There are 7 billion people on the planet, and there are 7 billion different ways to eat. There are 7 billion different diets out there because everyone's body is different. And we help you relearn like what that is for you. Okay. That's why we don't preach a certain way of eating. We are all about how can we help you and empower you to relearn and reteach, get rid of diet culture bull crap and really tune into like, what do I need? Like, is it the donut or is it like, do I need a hug? Do I need connection? Am I craving intimacy? Am I craving like a girls' night out? And I'm looking for the food, I'm looking for the donut to provide that for me? Or what do I really need is like, I need to go do karaoke with my girlfriends one night. Right. So we teach you like relearning, like what is good for you, what foods are going to work for you, what foods don't work for you anymore. And like, is it really the food? Right? What's underneath that?
Is it really the food? That's such a good statement right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because majority of the time it's not the food.
Yeah.
But this is what me and Sierra do. We're coaches. We're eating psychology coaches. This is how we help people reestablish a relationship with food. So you feel empowered, you feel confident, and you can actually eat what you want to eat, right? Without feeling out of control. And it's like you have the choice of how you want to go forward. It's like we always have the choice. We can continue to live down the path of like this cycle, feeling out of control, feeling like every weekend the binge gets worse and every Monday you got to start over. Like it's the cycle that is rules your life. And it's like how many weeks, how many days are going to continue to go on and on that you like are saying to yourself, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? When can I feel normal again? And we want to offer you an opportunity to work with us and to get into this program that we have. You can talk about it a little bit more, Sierra, if you want.
Yeah. So again, like we just want to spend a few minutes like talking about what we do, who we are, what we have, and it really extend an invitation for you to work with us directly, and potentially have us help you dial in on this challenge with feeling out of control with food. How many of you want to solve this problem once and for all and finally have your own freedom, peace, and self-control back? How many of you are ready to end the fight and eat normal and feel good and feel healthy? Just comment yes if that's you. If you're like, I'm in that place, like, oh, that's me. So again, we coach people on how to feel empowered around food, how to decode emotional eating. Okay. Like Hannah said, like, gosh, I was had a couple calls this week where I'm like just so excited for them that they're joining our inner circle, because it was just like, how many more days are you going to let go by that where you're struggling with eating too much sugar and overeating and binge eating and numbing out with food and sneaking and hiding chocolate and chips and not knowing how to handle your emotions and just feeling like crap? How do you sleep with that noise in your head? I used to not be able to sleep. It was like I woke up in the morning thinking about food, went to bed thinking about food, like guilt and shame all day, 24/7. We coach you on how to create peace, how to reestablish trust with your body, and how to have a system for emotional eating to help yourself be more in control. Okay. And we're good at it. We have a methodology that we've perfected over the last couple of years, but really in 2020, we got it down to a science. And again, our client Elizabeth started out with us and was ashamed of her body, was tired of dieting and having food rule her. And now she has a way more positive outlook on food in her body. She appreciates herself. She's more peaceful and she feels way more in control with her food. And we talk to people every day about where they are now, where they can go. And people are just so happy and excited and they're transforming.
Yeah, just today, there's like tons of threads of talking about all the little adjustments and changes and how they're shifting and feel so much more calm, right? And I think that's the main thing. It's like, we want to feel calm. We want to feel that peace, like Sierra was saying, with food, with life. Andrea was saying how like food gives her this anxiety. It's like we have all of these stresses and fears around food, and what is that taking away from your life? And what are you not doing because of that? And when you begin to plug into our program, our family, I almost want to call it a family, it's called our inner circle. Our family, you get support from everyone around you. And everyone who's going through the same thing, and we're realizing every story, every person that's in there, their stories are weaving with everybody else, and you begin to learn so much more, and things that other people bring up, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that, that's happened to me too. And it's about growing, right? It's about feeling safe, because a lot of the times we don't feel safe either in our own skin, with food, with where we are, who we are. And me and Sierra created a place where you actually begin to feel safe, safe to explore everything that we teach, safe to know yourself better, safe to start practicing these principles, because you're not doing it alone, because that can be really, really scary. And we want to, like, me and Sierra are both dedicated in helping you. Like, this is why we have this Facebook group, is to help you. We do these live trainings to help you. And if you are wanting to kind of dive in a little bit deeper and take a step further, we would love to get on a call with you. And this call is strictly value to help you, to support you. It's not a sales call, so don't worry about that. But this first call that we offer you is to actually see where you are and see, like, maybe what you're missing, so you can actually start taking the steps in healing that relationship with food, feeling more empowered with food. And if you want to jump on a call with us, this is totally free. Again, no sales, but strictly value. It's 15 minutes. We keep it pretty short just so we're busy, right? Just comment like yes, call, or say call, and we'll reach out to you privately and just kind of get a little bit of information from you, just so we can begin to schedule. And when we get on the call, we can hit the ground running and serve you in the highest, because that's really what it's about. Like, me and Sarah see the highest in everyone. We know it is possible, even though right now you might not feel like it's possible, or you might have a taste of it but not sure. Let us get on a call with you so we can show you the way and help you feel that comfort and that safe, so you can begin to explore yourself and your food and your relationship with food.
Absolutely. And Sue, thanks, Sue. Sue just joined this like a few days ago, and she says the inner circle is awesome so far. So thanks, Sue, and it's so good to see you on here too. Like, welcome to the family. Like, welcome to the inner circle. It really does feel like a family. And again, we want you to get a good night's sleep. Like, we know that this place with food and emotional eating and feeling out of control is like, it's such a terrible, awful place to be. And we don't want you to be stuck there. And so with this 15-minute game plan call, again, no sales, we're going to ask you some questions via Messenger. So just type below call, and we'll get on Messenger. We'll reach out. We'll chit chat a little bit. We'll get on a call, hit the ground running, so we can start getting you some action items, and we can start, we want to help you. Okay. So again, thanks so much for hopping on live. Comment below call if you are interested, and we will reach out to you. And again, our framework that we teach is groundbreaking in our industry. And if you choose to work through this framework with us, we're some of the best. We're helping hundreds of people already with their relationship with food and emotional eating and breaking free, and you can too. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the group and in our live next week.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.